What's good? What's poppin'? What's crackin'? What's percolating? It's your man Nico Bean, and today is a late one. We getting ready for Thanksgiving, and it is that week. We got stuff coming up for Thanksgiving, but I just wanted to hop on here. I've been on my grind, trying to get some more money and get more work in the hours lately. But yeah, we got some things to talk about, people. This will be me catching up to the latest news for Recast T'Challa and whatnot, and things regarding to the movement. Um, the first thing on our agenda is Winston Duke and his comments towards the Recast T'Challa, or just the fans in general who would like to see T'Challa be recast. And this is um, this is in regards to what he said to. This is from the AV Club. Winston Duke reacts to Black Panther fans who wanted Chadwick Boseman to be recast. Um, and it's good. And I quote: "Yes, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is now out in the world, but some Marvel Cinematic Universe fans are still taking issue with the sequel's decision to prioritize other characters in the world of Wakanda instead of recasting King T'Challa after surprising 2020 after the surprising 2020 death of Chadwick Boseman. One person who isn't particularly concerned with their opinion is Winston Duke, who stars as M'Baku." And this is what he said with Esquire. Um, uh, the original article was from Esquire magazine, and this is what he had to say. "They censored their own need for a character when none of this would be possible if the people who brought this to life didn't participate. From behind the scenes to in front of it," the Us actor says in an interview with Esquire. And this is, I'm actually going to the actual um, uh, the actual interview. Let's see. Where did he say this at? Where's that? Okay. Well, the past few years, success has found Duke suddenly in a big way, yada yada yada. His breakout role in Black Panther made him a wanted man in Hollywood, starring in the film that well brings $1 billion, just released. So, um, I'm trying to find exactly what he says. Bear with me, y'all. Um, Jesus, this whole thing is. Okay. Alright, he said, "I want to lead into what I consider the epic." Duke says, "The Black Panther is an epic. I look at 9 Days as an epic. Us is an epic. The proportions and the scale." Um, I don't. Okay. I'm just go back to what AV Club said. And there's no way they'll never remake Black Panther in the future. Remake Black Panther in the future. Duke tells Esquire, "There's no way that the saga and the interpretation of King of and okay, I'm sorry. There's no way that the saga and interpretation of T'Challa, King of Wakanda, will end. He is canon, so trust that it'll come. But allow this to be a human experience." Sure enough, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever concludes with the promise that T'Challa's story is not over. In the post-credit scene sequence, it revealed that the Wakandan king and Nakia seek out a son, also named T'Challa, which is stupid. While their new heir to the throne is still a child, there's no doubt that he'll be back when the pain of Boseman's death is not so fresh. This also opens up other possibilities for faithfully depicting other elements from the comics in the future. For example, T'Challa has been married to Storm, and the MCU is just barely starting to introduce mutants, with no hints as to when the X-Men will form. Okay, so basically what we're saying is we're gonna give you a child for your new T'Challa. And I'm just make this known. I have not seen the movie, and I do know that puts a little sour taste to what I'm saying, but I already knew from the leaks and what it was saying that this was coming. I knew there was going to be a bastard child that was not really legit. There was no anything about them going with the comics, because this is the way I look at it, and this is how it's been received from not only me but other people. You're making your audience feel like they've been given a substitute for what they really asked for. And it's three different audiences. It's ones that don't really care about the movie. It's just a movie for their entertainment. They don't care about the story. There's the people that are MCU fans that just go with whatever Marvel puts out. And then there's the actual hell-bent comic book accurate fans that know their shit when it comes to Black Panther, when it comes to any character that Marvel puts out, that were comic book readers that know what Marvel is adapting. In this movie, there's 3 comic books that they're adapting. There's Deadliest of the Species, where they're hell-bent on making Shuri the Black Panther, and they spin it and say T'Challa's dead. T'Challa was never dead. T'Challa was in a coma because he was attacked by Doom, Dr. Doom. And in a sort of way where you guys could have brought more hype to the film instead of just killing him off, you say T'Challa is actually in a coma and have Shuri be Black Panther like you guys already have right now. And instead of giving him a bastard child at the end of the movie, give us Doom, which is what you guys had. Yes, it was leaked, but still, go with that. You could have made a lot more anticipation for the film. And instead, you got bad reviews. This thing is about to tank, basically. You're basically giving your most highest grossing franchise, you're shitting the bed, really. Because you could have done so much more than just freaking kill off T'Challa. You're doing this all because of, once again, in your feelings. You didn't want to actually do the work. You said, okay, I don't want to do this, but I'm just bring everybody back, put them through a traumatic stress again, bring back the pain that we had from Chadwick Boseman's death. Let's put this in this film. And then I also read an article where they said they actually visited the grave of Chadwick Boseman before they actually made this film. Why? Why would you go visit your friend's grave before making a film? Do that after. Do the work by saying, hey, we knew what you stood for. You stood for diversity and the industry and whatnot. So we pay respects to you by recasting your character and keeping the story going. That's the best way to freaking honor a dude that put in the work even while he was sick. And then for you guys to say, oh, and from what Planet Fanatic says when he went to go see it, that it's in the first 15 minutes of the film. That makes me not want to go see this movie at all. Even more so, because I am boycotting this movie. I'm boycotting T'Challa, no ticket. Basically. Shout out to my mentor, Be Real with D Real. He actually makes the buttons. Go to his page, and if you follow him on Twitter, ask for a button, because he's selling them. But back to it. So you make that decision. Because see, my mind's going a few places now. When you introduce X-Men, and I don't know if I make it... no, I'm just going to say it. When you introduce Storm, there are certain things that I don't want to see, and I'm pretty sure other people can attest to this. One, we do not want to see him... we do not want to see her, Aurora Monroe. We want to see her royalty. You can actually do a separate film franchise with her. Basically, either a film or a Disney Plus show where she's actual royalty in the country that's neighboring to Wakanda. Then what you can do is, and don't, I know things have been set in stone and whatnot with this whole Toussaint, which is T'Challa's son. I don't like that. And then on top of that, and if you guys go back, and I do recommend everybody goes back and read the comics and read Deadliest of the Species. Shout out Theo B. I've been paying attention. I'm learning stuff. I'm actually invested and excited to read. I'm about to get Deadliest of the Species and do more. about to get both of those comic book series and read them, so I can ingest the knowledge for my character that I'm also writing. But when it comes to Storm and Nakia, nowhere have you seen Nakia throughout the whole entire Deadly Species comic book series run where Shuri takes up the mantle of Black Panther. Nakia is nowhere to be seen. Not once. And I might be wrong, I might have to go see that, but so far you have nothing. You have the actual brother of T'Chaka, who is Scion. Scion the Fast, who was a Black Panther before T'Challa became Black Panther. And you have and from what I'm gathering is when you have the Black Panther powers that is blessed by Boss with the heart-shaped herb, that does not leave your system at all. Even when you put up the cowl and you pass the mantle on to someone else, those powers never leave you. So you have that. You have and I might be wrong about that. I might have to go back and check that. You have Ramonda, you have Storm, and you have Susan Storm, who is basically Reed Richards' wife, Susan Storm, going to... No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it's Sue Storm, Roman Road, and Shuri. They're all going to face, because it's on two fronts. You have, let's see. You have Reed Richards in this film, which in this whole entire way that they did the film, you incorporate a comic book series where Shuri is Black Panther, but you don't have the other key people that are actually supporting characters in this film. And yes, we have Everett Ross. I don't know what Everett Ross does in this film. Like I said, I haven't seen the film. But an accurate portrayal, which this could have been a very accurate portrayal of Deadly Species and do more. You could have mixed both one movie, but have the actual Fox characters that Disney has bought, which is the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards and Sue Storm. And so, but I know that's a little bit far-fetched, but the main thing is you have a story to where you're trying to say where T'Challa's injured, T'Challa's this, that, and the third. And then on top of that, you introduce Namor and give him a spin to where he's not white, which that's okay, but the whole entire thing is you still have Namor facing T'Challa. Because, and I think I made, no, I know I didn't make it. I made a better version, my take on how they should have made Wakanda Forever. You guys can go watch that video. But you have it to where it's a thing that you don't do the right thing when it comes to this movie. And I know I just got way off topic, but going back to topic, actually, Winston Duke, you say that we don't understand, or what did he say? You said that they center their own need for a character when none of this would have been possible if the people who brought this to life didn't participate from behind the scenes to in front of it. So basically what you're saying our need is basically unimportant? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like to me. We understand that it would have been possible to be brought to life on the screen had it been for Chadwick Boseman or anybody that he worked with. We understand that. But you were not there in the picture when T'Challa was first introduced in Captain America Civil War. So, I don't know what you're talking about when you said the need for this character is basically unimportant. Nate Moore decided to introduce this character in 2016 in Captain America Civil War, and then you were brought on for the solo film. You were brought in as a supporting character. In another reality, you would have been the villain, the main villain of the movie. So, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I really don't. Because it comes down to this. Get off your high horse. Know that your community, black folks, need a positive influence, especially for our young black children. boys and girls. We have that with Okoye. Yeah, and I gotta give props to Denai Guerra because she's not come out of her ass and said anything stupid. But you, Letitia Wright, and Lupita Nyong'o have said we don't give a fuck about who or what we as black folks need in our community when it comes to positive influences. All of our real life heroes are dead. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and yes, those are back in the day and whatnot. But even for the ones that are here with us now that we don't even know about, the Black Lives Matter crew, the people who started out are dead. The people that did all these positive things for black folks are dead. And yes, the Black Lives Matter movement is out of the question because that's a whole different area of, I want to say, black related stuff, really. But when it comes to just the fictional era, the fictional realm of things, and we have T'Challa, who is basically going against every black trope that's pointed at us in America. And now this movie that you participated in is with killing the main character of the whole entire franchise off, and then giving him a son that has the same name. That does not make any sense. That's not how a recast is done. That's not a recast at all. A recast is continuing on the story and making everything legit to where this actor set the stage and set the foundation for the character, and then another actor came on and continued the character. You had the same thing with Rhodey, and he's about to be in Armor Wars. Don Cheadle came back, not came back, but came instead of, what's the dude's name? Oh shoot, Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard was Rhodey, but they switched it, made him dark skinned, and now we got Don Cheadle, which is not bad. He's been there for quite a minute. He was in the movie for 2000. What was it? I mean, came out when 2010. He been there for 10 years, and now we have it to where he's actually about to get his own solo movie, kind of, sort of. You got to have him in Armor Wars, where he's going to be the main character, and now we got it to where it's basically a black man being in his own film. But we never got a solo War Machine movie. We never got that. And it's past time we have, because we don't know anything about Rhodey. There's been no character development or whatnot, besides the fact that now he's paralyzed from Civil War. And he's still paralyzed to this day, which I don't understand. He was in Wakanda. You could have got that fixed while he was in Wakanda. Why was that not written in? That could have been written into Infinity War. Why did that not happen? I don't understand it. I really don't. But next topic: Angela Bassett versus Ryan Coogler. Apparently in this film, Queen Ramonda is killed or drowns, saving Riri Williams, which Riri Williams should have never been introduced in this film in the first place. You should have kept her off to the side. Anyway, Angela Bassett versus Ryan Coogler, and I'm going to go to the article itself. Ryan Coogler, let's see, Angela Bassett. Let's see here. Ryan Coogler. Alright, here we go. Here we go, Cinema Blend. And okay, so alright, well, Angela Bassett played a supporting role in the first Black Panther movie. Wakanda River gave her a much more meaty role. Unfortunately, she was killed off when Namor and his forces attacked Wakanda City. She died saving Riri Williams in a truly heartbreaking sequence. After all, who doesn't want to see her in more movies? Bassett herself recently spoke to IndieWire about her character's story in the sequel, revealing that she actually pushed back with Ryan Coogler over her death. She said, I objected. Yeah, I was like, Ryan, what are you doing? Why? You rule the day. You rule the day. You will rule the demise of Ramonda. People are going to be so upset. Well, would you look at that? I mean, she's not wrong, considering just how powerful her performance was throughout Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I was definitely bummed to see Angela Bassett's signature MCU character killed off in the critically acclaimed sequel. But the dead aren't really gone in Wakandan culture, so perhaps we'll still be able to see her in a future movie. What? Wow? How? How? I don't get it. You killed off the Queen Mother. This movie already has T'Challa being killed off, allegedly, because like Theo Butler said, there was no body. So we don't know if T'Challa's dead or not. But you say that you're trying to make this a tribute to Chadwick Boseman by putting a funeral for T'Challa in the film, which doesn't make any sense. And that goes back to what Planet Fanatics showed, because I watched their lives, and they had to where it was spoken that Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler both are still grieving, which they have the right to. But if you're grieving, don't go to work grieving. That doesn't make any sense. Take time, take away from this film, and let your grieving process go through let yourself go through the grieving process. Don't come back to a film where you know you're not going to be thinking straight, and that's basically what they did in this film. But carry on. Angela Bassett's comments to IndieWire help peel back the curtain on what it's actually like making an epic movie in Black Panther 2 sophomore Marvel effort for greatly altered after the death of Chadwick Boseman. This movie should have never been altered at all. It really shouldn't have. Because if you're trying to make a profit for the next film, the way to go is to keep the story going and flowing. That's the best way to do this thing. You didn't do that with Iron Man. You didn't do that with Thor. You didn't do that with Captain America. You didn't do that with any of your solo superheroes that had a story going for them. And then when you have it with the very first Black solo outing, you had a story that really wasn't an origin story, in my opinion. It wasn't. You made a stupid character of Njobu who was basically a plot device to push Killmonger. That's what you did. You made Killmonger basically the main character of the entire movie, in my opinion, the way I see it. It's basically the Black version of Hamlet. That's basically what it is. Hamlet dies at the end of the film, just like Killmonger dies. So that's not, in my opinion, that wasn't an origin story for T'Challa. That wasn't a legit origin story. And then on top of that, apparently in this second film, you have Shuri see Killmonger. Why? Lord have mercy, Jesus. All I gotta say is go read Deadly of the Species, because you didn't have her see Killmonger at all. At all. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Anyway, back to the video. Third topic of the day is going to be Lupita Nyong'o heads to a quiet place. Very ironic. A quiet place. Lupita Nyong'o is playing in.
Oh Jesus! Right.
Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Lupita Nyong'o to star in A Quiet Place spinoff Day 1. Okay. The Oscar-winning actor from 12 Years a Slave, Black Panther, and Us is in the final negotiations to star in the spinoff A Quiet Place Day One, which is the next installment of the Paramount horror franchise. Um, Story details are being kept under wraps. It's supposed to come out March 8th, 2024, and it is an original idea from John Krasinski, who directed and co-starred in the first two A Quiet Place films with Emily Blunt. Okay, all right. As if anybody hasn't seen A Quiet Place, the first two films took place on a post-apocalyptic Earth where terrifying blind monsters have destroyed society. Even though the deadly beasts can't see, they use a form of echolocation to hunt their human prey. Krasinski and Blunt, who are married in real life, played Lee and Evelyn Abbott, the parents of two young kids named Marcus and Regan, played by Noah Jupe and Millicent Simmons. After Krasinski's character died in the ending of the original 2018 movie, he returned for a cameo role in the 2020 sequel, which began with the prologue before the monsters attack. A Quiet Place Part 2 also introduced Cillian Murphy, Digimon Hunsun, which they killed off in that movie, which was stupid. Scoot McNairy and Okriete to his cast. I don't know how to say that dude's last name. Nyago will be seen imminently in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, yada yada. But yeah, so she's going to A Quiet Place, where she should have been going after she made those comments about recast T'Challa. And if anybody doesn't know, I actually made a video on that, so you guys can go watch that too. That's different. She's gonna be in A Quiet Place where she won't be saying a lot. Karma is really a bitch. But so there's that. I believe that that's different. I can't really speak on that because A Quiet Place is one of those franchises that is different. It's very, very unique. It's almost like, and I saw the difference, the two different horror films that came out, which were A Quiet Place and Don't Look, or where you had to cover your eyes, you had to use your sign, basically had to turn into Daredevil a little bit. But all in all, the recast T'Challa movie is not going anywhere. And when it comes to us being voicing our opinions and what matter to us, black representation, which is probably a video I'm going to be doing soon, might make it after this one. But we know the character of T'Challa and what it means to us as black folks. We know that it is a staple in our history because it was created during the 60s. We know the stories that have not been told yet that you cannot give to T'Challa Jr. because T'Challa Jr. is nowhere, it's not even a part of the canon that you're trying to say that it's a part of the MCU. It doesn't make sense. And for Marvel to wake up, you're going to have to see a drastic change because I believe, and I think that Adam Post, who I've been also listening to, about how Marvel has gone woke with this women movement. The Me Too movement was years ago when you down Bill Cosby and all this other stuff. I don't understand why this whole entire women becoming superheroes over the men that are established for them. Why can't they grow together? I don't understand that. Wakanda Forever was a perfect setup to where we could have had T'Challa be in a coma. I don't mind that at all. Be in a coma. Let Shuri become a trained warrior princess because she's not just smart. She's a warrior. She's a badass. She kicks ass left and right and willing to throw hands with anybody that messes with her family. And instead of developing that inside of her or even putting that in the first film, you gave her the quirky, bratty, smart girl. I don't understand that. I really don't. And yes, you had some good times. You had some good moments in the first Black Panther film where you saw T'Challa and Shuri bonding. Yes, but one thing that I always wondered was you give us a small little fraction of what T'Challa is actually about when it comes to his mind, his intellect. This dude is a master in all martial arts. He's gone abroad and studied abroad, came back, met Aurora when she was actually studying abroad because she was, if I'm correct, in one story when T'Challa is being groomed to become king, he goes on the what's the call? What's the thing called? Um, mm, Hold on, I got it right here. Let's see. He has the what is it? What is it? I got it right here. The rite of passage. He takes that long walk, the rite of passage, and he has to walk. I think from does he walk the whole length of Africa, or does he walk just the whole length of Wakanda? I gotta go back and do my research on that. But when he does that, that is in his journey of becoming a man, and he meets Aurora, and they're lovers from basically childhood or teenage childhood, and that story that should have been put in the 2018 movie. We could have had Scion, the rite of passage. We could have had hmm. Hell, we could have had a whole bunch of stuff in the 2018 movie that they didn't want to put in. And Ryan Coogler, he's a good director, and I've seen it from this one article. As a Bassett is opening my eyes because I'm like, dude, why did you make that decision to kill off his mother? I just don't get it. Now my mind goes to this: Ta-Nehisi Coates, when Shuri was portrayed as Griot, she saw her mother in another plane of existence, but she was not dead. I might be wrong about that. I might have to go back and read the comic books. But in Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, when Shuri is being, Shuri is also in a coma at one point, and T'Challa, the role switch. T'Challa's trying to get his sister back from the dead or from the limbo because that's where she is, and she comes back with all these other powers as Griot. And so you have that. You have T'Challa going up against not only all these other new villains that came in Ta-Nehisi Coates' run of his Black Panther run, but you have it to where T'Challa is once again being a badass. You have Shuri that goes from having the Black Panther power, she gets upgrade. She's able to solidify herself as a solid object. She gets to materialize herself as birds, a flock of birds, be able to transfer it, basically another way of teleportation. You have her able to do a whole bunch of things, and it's a situation to where you have all these other aspects where, and I don't know how they're gonna do it, but with killing our Queen Ramonda, that should have never been in the movie at all. Because, and I might have to go back and make a second part to this video. Like I said, you have her become I think no, I know what it was. In when the Black Order came to Wakanda, and this is also something in Civil War, in Infinity War, that could have happened. You could have had Shuri after she was facing off against oh shoot, I forgot the dude's name. But when the one member of the Black Order attacked the lab where Vision was, you could have had her, and you did show her fighting the dude, but she could have sustained injuries, go back and having to seek medical attention to where she's not as well as she was. Still had T'Challa in the film. Have it to where, well, of course, in Infinity War, T'Challa was snapped away, stupid, and apparently Shuri was snapped away. So that just squashes what I was gonna say. But in the whole run of this film with Wakanda Forever, you could have had, and apparently she gets stabbed by Namor in the last fight between the two. I don't know. I apparently have to go watch the film for myself to see what goes on. But I'm into like this. There are certain things you do not do in films, and I know that the industry that I'm trying to get into, which is the entertainment industry, is very, very, very difficult. And you have to keep a certain mindset to where you are always on your toes. You always are keeping up with what is being done in the industry. But at certain points, you have to stand in a certain spot and say, I'm holding myself to a certain standard. I'm not going to let my integrity go. My integrity will not allow me to do certain things. And that's apparently what's happening with Blade, because the director saw the script and he was like, what? We're not doing this. No. We're not about to make Blade woke, because that's not what Blade is about. But that's for another video. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll be hitting y'all with another one. And I'll see y'all soon. Love y'all.